Good morning, gang. 0600 here in the great state of Tennessee, and I just was ready to post this morning's video, and of course, overnight, the lovely algorithms flagged the video, and so I've now got to wait for a person to review it, and there's nothing in there they're going to worry about. But of course, that means I can't post that video. And so I figured what I'll do is I'll record the video that I planned on putting up tomorrow morning. And you guys can watch it today. And if the other one clears, I'll post it later today. So you might get two today. Well, you will get two today, because if they flag it and say, no, you can't post it, it's going straight to Rumble. So that'll be the deal, because that one, there's some important stuff in there. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is disposable people, okay? And no, I'm not talking about useless eaters or something like that. I'm talking about the complete failure of society in the last couple of generations. I'd say going all the way back to mine, okay, Generation X. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you go a little bit into the boomers, but I'm not sure. But it's definitely got worse over the last 30 years, okay? And what I say is this, and I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of, I don't want to say history, but, backstory, I guess would be a better way to do it. Some of you are old enough to remember, free love back in the 60s and the 70s, okay? And the promiscuity that wound up throughout society, okay? And it abated a little bit, but I mean, at least back then you still had for the most part, the two-parent family, okay? I mean, there were some, but there weren't many single moms or, some divorced and everything like that, and some single, but not many, all right? And now you look at society and it's like half of the kids are raised in single-parent households. I mean, either by unwed mothers or by divorced couples. And I'm not blaming the women on this, so don't even take that one, okay? But what I get into on this one, it was funny because I was talking to friends of ours last night, and, they were talking about hookup culture or whatever it is, I met a guy for 10 minutes, and I'm going to decide to go spend a week with him at his place out of state. Who the hell does that? Okay. And then they were telling me another story about, just using the guy, hey, maybe he'll give us a ride down to the Florida Keys, two girlfriends talking to each other. And one makes the comment, goes, yeah, well, if, he'll do that, I'll take one for the team and we'll get the free ride, knowing what that means, okay? And I look at it and I go, that's a complete lack of self-respect, okay? If the only thing that you value of your life, okay, of who you are, is you're now somebody else's toy, and I mean, that's just sad. But it's a culture that the lack of morality, the lack of morals in the world, okay, I mean, not only the United States, this goes on all over the world, has just been thrust upon us because, you get sites, like Tinder or God knows how many of the other X-rated websites or whatever it is where you can go find a hookup partner for the night. And I mean, it's to the point where that's how little respect people have for themselves, okay? Well, here's the problem, okay? And y'all know how old I am, and I'll remind Jason over at Angry Prepper, I'm not 60, I'm not 80, I'm 54. I will be 55 Labor Day weekend, okay? So, yes, I was born in 1966. No, I'm not 80. Yeah, and I don't think I look 80 either. So, hey, this is all still real hair. But, I go back and I look at it and you go, all right, the people running the show, all right, and I'll say politicians, I'll say companies, I'll say whatever, for the most part are Gen X and still a bunch of boomers, okay? Now, not a problem. There's still, we can question this all day we want about Democrats in Washington, but there's still morals in our politics. All right? The issue that we're running into is, as preppers, as citizens of any country, if you will, the future leaders that we have are going to be these no moral, no social skills people whatsoever. I mean, you take AOC or Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib or, any of the squad members or, I guess there's a new one in there or whatever. They can't put together a coherent sentence without putting their foot in their mouth, okay? But God knows they're, the kings and queens of Twitter and Instagram and everything. And this becomes a problem because you can't run a lemonade stand via Twitter, let alone a country, okay? And what we've got to be very careful with, and I'm not saying that there aren't younger generation people that have morals, okay? There certainly are. But, because American society, and I'm assuming other places around the world, but I can't speak wholly for them because I don't experience life there. We've completely thrown religion to the curb. Okay, we've completely thrown any morals to the curb, and anything that teaches you morals. Everything that is taught to young kids now is how to be a victim, how it's never your fault. The days of personal responsibility are gone. I mean, turn on any TV show and watch TV for an hour, and I guarantee you see some sort of lawyer's commercial. Were you hurt by Roundup? Were you hurt by Johnson & Johnson baby powder? How many emails do you guys get a month saying there was a class action suit filed and you're part of it? Okay. Everybody is all of a sudden a victim. And this is just being instilled upon us one by one, and people have completely lost all sense of morality. And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying most. And the ones that are going to make the decisions about our lives going forward, I mean, politically, business-wise, whatever, I mean, your boss, however, would be, are completely devoid of any sort of moral compass. I mean, period. And, you just look at all the stuff that's in front of the Supreme Court this week on things that they've got to decide upon. I mean, we're in the middle of Pride Month. Okay, I'm proud of me. All right, do we need a special month to celebrate, self-pride? Apparently, some people do because they're that fragile. I need to surround myself with a whole bunch of other people to tell me I'm a good person. Okay, these are our future leaders. And if that doesn't give you an idea of the direction that we are headed as a civilization, I mean, whole world, okay, that's very worrisome. Now, hopefully, and I'm not optimistic about this, but hopefully that at least for the rest of my life, the folks that will be making the decision will be in my generation. Okay, the Gen Xers, because after that, forget it, all bets are off. There's, no sense of morality whatsoever, no social skills, no nothing. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm good for, and, and that's it. But think about this when it comes to your preps, because we prep for God knows what. Hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, economic collapse, political collapse, war, you name it. But we all have a tendency to look with eyeballs that are this big. Start looking with the eyeballs that are this big, because lately it's been a little different, but usually the way our rights are taken from us is they're chipped away little at a time, so you don't notice it, okay? Or don't really think, it's just a little thing, no big deal, I can deal with that. Now they're trying to take off huge chunks, all right? But, what's going to happen when these politicians come up and say, oh, you have an extra bedroom in your house? Well, Juan and Maria, who we just let in from Mexico, they need a place to stay, so we've decided they're going to stay in your house. Think that's not possible? Okay, go look at the Soviet Union. All right, that happened. What happens when the Department of Agriculture assessor or whatever it is comes down and says, oh, you know what? You've got 50 tomato plants there. By our estimate, that means you should grow 350 tomatoes. Well, we don't think you're going to eat that much, so you're going to be responsible for giving 200 of those tomatoes to us. Think that doesn't happen? Look at the Eastern Bloc throughout all of the communist era. That's called, communism, commune. Everybody works for the benefit of all, okay? Which basically benefits nobody. These people that are completely devoid of morals and devoid of any communication skills, any social skills, and any common sense are eventually going to be the ones running the country. Like I said, God only hopes I'm gone by the time that happens. But I fear for my kids, or my kid, okay? I fear for our kids that they're going to have to live in a society like that, where you're 50 years old trying to raise, your teenager or whatever would be, but you've got another family living in the house that you don't necessarily know. They were just assigned to you, okay? Welcome to the World Economic Forum Great Reset. You'll own nothing and be happy. You won't own your house. Juan and Maria won't own the house. Klaus Schwab will, or his successor, and you've just been given the privilege to live there, so you have no say in the matter who they decide is going to come live in your house. That's where this is all heading, guys. All right, and you really need to start prepping for it. Rudy over at Alaska Prepper did a great video last night, great live stream, talking about getting out of debt. And I've said this many times. The only way you are going to have any sort of authority over your life going forward is if you own something. If you own the house outright, I'm not saying with a mortgage, because at that point the bank owns the house and you're just borrowing it until you've paid off the note, okay? If you own the house, you're going to have some say in the matter when, the guys in the blue helmets or whoever knock on your door and say, here's Juan and Maria, they're moving in. And you go, no, sorry, you don't have any authority over this property. This property is my kingdom. You have no authority here. Okay. So, that's what I'm telling you guys, to start looking at the future in the past, or in the present, because the AOCs of the world and the Ilhan Omars of the world, okay, not necessarily them, but people just like them, are eventually going to be the ones making the decisions. And it's up to you and me to stop that, okay? Because we don't need mental midgets like those two, or anybody who even thinks anything like them, to be running our lives. I'm sorry, it's still my life. No matter what they try to take away from me, the only way to take that from me is to end it. So, all right, I wanted to give you that one. Like I said, this was supposed to be Wednesday morning's video, but it turned out to be one that I had to record here at 6 a.m. If the other one comes up, I will post it today too, because that one, like I said, is kind of important. But for the meantime, guys, have a good Tuesday. We'll see y'all later. Pinball out.